Hello and welcome to the Serenity Health and Wellbeing podcast with me, Sarah Castles, where we explore simple, sustainable ways to take care of your mind, your body and sense of self through all the seasons of life. Firstly, I want to wish everyone a very happy and healthy 2026. I hope that you've enjoyed Christmas, but if it's been a challenging time for whatever reason, then I really hope today's podcast will enable you to find a bit of headspace just for you. I'm going to share some tips on how we can make 2026 our happiest and healthiest year yet. So let's get started. I'm going to start with the one that everybody talks about. So tip number 1 around making New Year's resolutions. Now, I am not a great fan of making New Year's resolutions because quite often in the past they've been idealistic and have set me up to fail even by mid-January. So I want to help you reframe this and instead get you to think more about making small shifts for the year ahead or resetting the year on your own terms. For me, I like to ask myself, what do I need more and less of in the coming year, having reflected back on the previous one? So a couple of examples where I need more and less of are, so I need more focus on my own well-being because the last few years have been challenging ones. I talk candidly about this in my new book, Living Well, Finding Simplicity After the Storm, which you can actually now order on my website by just dropping me a line either as an email, there's a contact form on my website, or you can just drop me a text. We've got lots of copies here now, proper copies, both hard and softback, and we can get them out to you really quickly, first class tracked. So do drop me a line if you would like to get one before they all go on to Amazon at the end of January. I'm also prioritising sleep even more than I have done so. Sorry girls, might be leaving the party a little bit earlier than I normally do, and drinking water even more when I don't feel like it. What I really need less of is wasting time phone scrolling, as well as reactive habits, because I'm a great one for eating mindlessly when I'm stressed. Maltesers are a big one. They just keep going in and then you think, where's that packet gone? And also I'm going to tidy my office because it has become a dumping ground over the last month. So take a pause and write down what you would like more and less of for the coming year. You might just surprise yourself. Number 2, choose a word of the year that will give you a steady compass rather than a long list of things you want to fix or achieve. Now, I've done this now for the last few years. Some of my previous words of the year have been joy, resilience, nourish, and last year, or 2025, this year, compromise. But my word of the year going into 2026 is going to be nurture. So why have I chosen this? I feel that it's so important to nurture ourselves every day of the year. I want to continue to nurture my body, my mind, and my spirit, as well as my business, my friendships and my marriage. So instead of juggling resolutions such as exercise more, eat better, be less stressed, be calmer, having a word of the year becomes a filter which is not demanding. In moments of stress or decision fatigue or self-doubt, your word can become an anchor, and unlike resolutions, a word doesn't get broken. So maybe pause now and think, what word would enable you to make 2026 a happier and healthier year? Tip number 3, start journaling and practicing gratitude. Now, I love ordering a new journal for the new year, but this year I'm combining my journaling and gratitude practice into one journal rather than having 2 separate ones, because I've also just received something I've never had before, is something called a productivity planner, and I'll leave the link below as to where you can buy one. I am a planner by nature, never happier than when I'm thinking ahead, but recently with so much happening, even my organised mind has felt overwhelmed at times. What I'm really looking forward to is returning to a simple grounding routine, that of which of sitting down each morning with my fat coffee with collagen, you can find that recipe on my website, and spending around 20 minutes journaling, reflecting and gently planning the day ahead. This creates less pressure but more intention, a moment to pause before the day begins. And this leads me very well on to my next tip, number 4, which is protect one daily ritual. You may have already listened to my podcast on 5 daily rituals, and if you haven't, I really encourage you to. But for me, it's so important to protect at least one daily ritual that helps me to feel more grounded and good about myself. As I look ahead to the coming year, I'm really committed to protecting those 20 minutes that I've just talked about each morning. Time to enjoy my coffee and journal before the day gathers momentum. It is a small window, but it sets the tone for everything that follows. That said, life is rarely still. We now have a young Labrador, Bramble, who has an enormous amount of energy and an eagerness to please. She's 4 months this weekend, so just before we go into the new year. And we can't forget our other golden doodle, who's 4 years old, called Ernie, who is still very energetic too and completely bonkers. So another ritual I'm going to consciously protect is taking Bramble out for her daily sort of walks. We tend to go out 2 to 3 times a day, and using that time outside, which I love, but, because I love the kind of the wind and the rain, I really don't mind, but I actually do want to get to gently train her to become a calm and obedient dog, something that Ernie hasn't quite mastered yet. So it's a bit of a double challenge for me. Other simple rituals I want to hold on to include reading in bed, just prioritising a bit of time in bed to read, or read beside the fire, and lighting a candle at dusk. These are small, intentional moments that may seem insignificant, but when protected and repeated, they quietly anchor the day and create a sense of calm and continuity. Whatever ritual or rituals you want to start in your daily life, protect them fiercely, because consistency matters more than duration. Tip number 5, adjust your pace with the new year. I couldn't skip this point, having recently published a book centred on living and eating seasonally. So I invite you to adjust your pace with the year itself. I want to emphasise that you really are allowed to change speed. We can learn so much from each season. Winter invites rest, spring encourages gentle growth, summer offers abundance, and autumn allows space for reflection. When we honour this natural rhythm, it gives us permission, guilt-free, to slow down, particularly in the colder months. The nights are still going to be drawing in for a while, so perhaps this is a time to do something nourishing that you enjoy, while we don't yet have the light of longer days. You might finish a series you've been watching, experiment with a new recipe, or finally tackle a project that's been quietly waiting. A friend of mine once used January and February to reframe and remount all the pictures in her home so they finally matched. It's something she knows she'd never have done if the days were longer and life felt busier. Winter gave her that space. So maybe this season, it's your moment to start or finish a project of your own. For me, as I said earlier, it is rearranging my office and consultation room so it feels calmer, tidier and less cluttered. It's a small shift, but one that makes a great difference to how I feel each day. Tip number 6. I want you to shift your mind away from the number on the scales. And this particularly relates to women who in midlife may be struggling with changes to your body, particularly around weight changes. And if there's one habit I would love you to loosen your grip on, it is taking your mind away from the number on the scales. Scales or numbers tie your sense of success, health or self-worth just to a number. They tell us very little. Scales don't reflect how well you've slept, how nourished you are, how strong your body feels, how balanced your hormones might be, or how resilient you're becoming emotionally. They certainly don't capture the effort that you're putting in to care for yourself in a more sustainable and compassionate way. Weight naturally fluctuates day to day due to hydration, hormones, digestion, stress, and even sleep. Yet so many of us, me included, allow that single number on the scales to dictate our mood, our confidence, and sometimes even how we choose to eat or move for the rest of the day. Instead, I invite you to tune into other markers of progress. How is your energy, your concentration, your mood? Are you sleeping more soundly, feeling stronger, or noticing fewer cravings? Do your clothes feel more comfortable? Are you moving your body because it feels good rather than as a punishment? True health, I want to reassure you, is not defined by a number on the scale. It's built quietly through consistent nourishment, gentle movement, rest, and kindness towards yourself. When you shift your focus away from that number, you create a space to build a healthier relationship with your body, one rooted in respect and not restriction. This leads me gently onto my final point. Tip number 7, find your why. Before you rush into goal planning plans or good intentions for the year ahead, I want you to pause and ask yourself one gentle but powerful question. Why does this matter to me? Your why isn't about what you think you should want. It's about genuinely what matters to you in this season of your life. Without it, even the most well-intentioned habits can start to feel heavy, forced, or short-lived. Perhaps your why is wanting more energy to get through the day without feeling depleted. Maybe it's about feeling calmer, more present, or more confident in your own skin. It could be that you want to be able to walk further, sleep better, think more clearly, or simply feel like yourself again. When your choices are anchored to a clear why, they become easier to return to on days when motivation fades. You are no longer chasing perfection or a quick fix. You're making decisions that align with the life you want to live and the person you want to feel like. My why is deeply rooted in making the years ahead of me better than the years behind me. In the last 7 years, I've had both my hips replaced, so I want to be able to walk for miles well into the future. I want to feel strong, capable, and as pain-free as possible. And I want the reassurance that I'm doing everything I can now to support that future version of myself. It's not about chasing perfection or chasing an ideal. It's about investing gently, consistently in my health, my strength, and my independence, so that the life I want to live remains available to me for as long as possible. So take a little time to reflect, write it down and let it evolve. Your why doesn't need to be dramatic or impressive, it just needs to be honest. Because when you understand your why, everything else starts to make much more sense. I hope these ideas have helped you as you start to think about 2026. I'm going to be delving into health-related topics in more detail, and I would love it if you chose to follow me. All the links to my social media and website are below, and I would love for you to sign up to my weekly newsletter so you're up to date with all that is happening here at Serenity Health and Wellbeing, because we have lots of new things happening. And as a little thank you for spending this time with me, I'm offering 15% off my Living Well Premium Bundle when you book a free 30-minute, no obligation consultation with me in January. What have you got to lose? I will be back weekly, every Monday from the 5th of January with a podcast. But for now, however you're choosing to see the new year in, whether that's out celebrating or tucked up with an early night, I really hope you enjoy it. And I want to encourage you, as you step into 2026, know that this can be your year for finding more serenity, health and well-being in your everyday life.